Hello there, my chocolate chip muffin. I'm going to be addressing some FUD, Richard Hart FUD from ogFaraday. Now, ogFaraday, friends, he has been the gentleman or squirrel, I don't know what he is. He's a thing that's been on-chain tracking God Whale, Richard Hart, the sacrifice funds, and all of these things. He's got some like convoluted network, and he's one that's been basically putting it all together. Now, a lot of Hexagons started following him, and I said, look, it's a free world. You can follow him all you want. If you just go through his posts, a lot of his posts are just fighting PulseChain, saying stuff like, it's a one-man show. But it's kind of funny. Richard buys a bit, we go up. Richard stops, we don't go. Uh-oh, what happened there? Just chill out. Okay, we'll go through that. Now, ogFaraday, friends, I'm just going to warn you. If you're a Richard Hart maxi, it's going to hurt you a bit seeing this because you're going to see like the creator. It's kind of like, imagine like if Max Keiser, he's like really pro-Russia. Imagine he finds a diary of Satoshi and Satoshi says, anybody who's pro-Russia, you're an idiot. Just for example, okay? Now, obviously, I love Russian people out there. I'm just telling you, it's that same equivalent. They're like, it's so striking. It's so, So just chill out. Everything's going to be all right. Okay, now, ogFaraday, basically, he goes through, just shows the human nature of Richard Hart. Now, the first thing he does is he shows that, and this is true, okay? Because I marked the Pulse ETH ratio. He shows that when PulseChain sacrifice was done, Ethereum was 1,800. And when PulseX sacrifice was done, Ethereum was 3,300. Now, it basically says you're offside. And we already know this. I've told you this thousands of times. Yes, at the sacrifice phase, the best move to do was actually not participate at all. It's too many people in with you. It was to actually buy ETH. That was actually a funny part. Now, he says, obviously, in another way, he says all your swaps are underwater. They're underwater. But look, man, I'm just going to tell you right now, first thing, play some nice, gentle angel music for the third time right there. Okay? Just to let you know, okay, when you're looking at these, I've already basically given you the answer. Altseason, friends, in a Bitcoin halvening year, 2016, 2020, and 2024. They don't go the way you think they go. Well, if actually most of you did the research, you'd actually see, which most of you have. Right? So it's not like everybody expects fully up only, but you get to see Altseason in a Bitcoin halvening year. They do well, but they don't go up forever. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now, we're not done with ours. We're just guessing what happens next. But the Altseason in the Bitcoin halvening year, 250 to 350 days, and then 6 months of down. But it's not fully up only. It's a shift to make everybody believe in crypto and make them believe that getting rich is possible. But it's not the shift where everybody realizes they're rich. That's not the shift. That Altseason comes when Bitcoin breaks the all-time high. Okay, so that's why everybody is nervous now. Even go check the comment sections, friends. You can see whose portfolios have disappointed them already. Just go check all the reply sections. When I show you this chart, like, please show me why you think, okay, if this was Altseason in 2016 and this was Altseason in 2020 and this is what we've done so far, look how big the rectangles are. You're telling me this hasn't got started yet. Okay, what data are you looking at? So this, friends, this is like, I'm just trying to help you here. Okay, but let's categorize it, yeah? This is the pre-game Altseason. This is the Altseason Bitcoin under the all-time high. This is Bitcoin halvening Altseason. This is not the real big one. The Dogecoin SHIB one you're looking for is if Bitcoin breaks the all-time high. Okay, so that's actually what we're really looking for. So continuing on with ogFaraday, that's why we really got to pay attention to this. Now, what he does is he just shows Richard Hart pointing out how wrong he is about the stock market. He goes, so, you know, Richard Hart's saying, yes, I think stocks will be going down for a while. S&P 500 is at this price. If I'm right, I'll be pointing back to the core and telling you I told you so. Yours just continues down here. I should point out I'm calling the top in real estate, commercial real estate. Everything should get beaten up harder, etc., etc. And you can see it right here. Now, it's funny, friends. You get to see, this is why, man, friends, promise me as long as you live, don't trade the S&P 500. You will get murdered. There's a reason why I'm in crypto. Because I know this big daddy, it slaps everybody around. There's too many insiders, bug eaters. You can't game it, man. It's basically impossible. It's near impossible. That's why 60-40 portfolio, that's what everyone does. Also, there's something better than that. It's called crypto. Maybe you've heard of it. And a guy wearing a helicopter hat is telling you before you cycle, friends. While it's magical, pay attention, okay? It's funny, Richard waited for 3 monthly red candles. 1, 2, 3. And he's like, that's it, I'm calling the top. And then we had 4 green monthly candles up only. I mean, don't try to time it. I just, you know what I mean? It's interesting how it plays out. Now, ogFaraday as well, he has Lazar Fink on the left, and this is the $600 million of stable coins. And I think what he's basically saying is, he says, yes, selling the top was a genius move, but the next move wasn't, which is staying in stable coins throughout the whole bear market and not rebuying ETH. But, you know, friends, if you go speak to stock market people when they do the stats, they go, making one right move, it's actually good chances for you in terms of like selling a top of stock markets. The problem is when you get back in. That's always the problem, because the first one's hard enough. Now you got to get back in on the next one. That's the most difficult part of all. So it always is just better to obviously ride out the waves. He also shows this very long essay from Richard Hart. This is when Bitcoin was first breaking up above, as you can see. He goes, remember when Bitcoin went from 65K to 30K while Hex did like a 20X? Remember when I called the top, the world bought bonds, etc. The bonds are all down. Too long didn't read. Interest rates higher for longer to fight inflation. People sell bonds. Effectively, just to summarize Richard's just thinking, right? ogFaraday is just pointing out. He's saying high interest rates are going to crack the economy. Everybody thinks that. But the problem is the timing, man. See, friends, if we don't crack now and we crack next year, guess what? We've just had a whole crypto bull market. Okay, you've had a Bitcoin halvening year with the alt season, the pre-game alt season, and then maybe Bitcoin breaks the all-time high. Maybe you crack somewhere. Maybe we're going to crack in 3 weeks. I don't know. No one knows. Okay, just the guy in the helicopter hat just telling you, timing these things, friends. If you see all the cycles and how they interlap each other, you're like, oh, a big crash is going to happen. It can happen in year 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. There's like minus 2.5 years on the offset and plus 2.5 years on the inset. You're like, oh, okay, wow, there's a 5-year window. That's the business cycle. Like, it's a 5-year window, things that go down. Doesn't help much, right? And it makes things even worse if the government knows that a crash is kind of coming, because then they print earlier and earlier. Now, what are you going to be holding in the crash? You're going to be holding your fiat, but you're getting printed away. That's why people just keep investing for the long term, all right? So this is what ogFaraday is just showing. He's also showing, I think it's basically like an ode to Michael Saylor as well. So I'll just show you what he's doing here. Basically, he's making a joke here. Richard Hart says, Saylor, lol, even his name sucks. So he's talking about in July 2022 down here. Saylor tried to force his will on the market. He lost. I guess it's Balaji's time to be humbled, which is, this is Balaji saying $1 million Bitcoin in 90 days. You remember that? And then Bitcoin kept going up, right? So I think if you remember after this point, many months after, I mean, Richard had to basically force his way to launch his PulseChain. He was probably expecting much lower. There's a kind of words, if it was anybody else thinking like, oh, I really thought 12K was coming. And that was basically just the widowmaker for the bears when it comes to that. But look, man, just to tell you, all right, Richard, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, they don't have actual crystal balls for tomorrow. What they do have is they have a decision tree process in their brain where when they're presented with decisions to make, on average, the decisions they make get to their goal much faster, much more efficient, and successfully. You and me, we're literally just like watching each other spin our helicopter hats going like, oh man, it's going to take me like 3 months to find out somebody who has a squeaky chair to film something for me and to produce content. You know what I mean? Like, it just takes us much, much, much longer. That's why these people are basically like, especially individuals. That's it. You genetically got to be like that. You got to have the tenacity to do that as well. So he's also quoting up here, Michael Saylor saying he holds personally 17,700 BTC, but this was back in October 2020 at $9,800 each. So I think it's just showing him, he's basically, what he's saying is how Michael Saylor made a lot more money than Richard Hart, because he's showing that 9.98 billion, right, of up here with 190,000 Bitcoin, and then Michael Saylor having 17,000. Now, I don't know if ogFaraday even knows, but I've heard like maybe Richard even has more Bitcoin than that. I don't really know. But it's not meant to be a competition, like, or who cares, right? It doesn't really matter. But why did I tell you the Bitcoin halvening year alt season information first? It's because that's actually the most relevant part here. If you take a side of Bitcoin or Hex or Richard Hart or Michael Saylor or Max Keiser, you don't get anything out of it, man. These narratives mean nothing. What means something is what I've just shown you. There's a pattern to people participating in these freaking alt seasons and the Bitcoin halvening year. They come in, they get enough hope and optimism. Then they get this disbelief crash later on, maybe in the year. I don't know when, okay? And then we get the Bitcoin all-time high break, okay? ogFaraday then plays a clip of Richard Hart saying, in before Hexagon, saying that he was actually giga long the whole time. So you can tell this guy does a very, very strong, specific stalking, friends. Like, it's, you said stuff. Now, I know what Richard's going to do because I got people, they'll follow me, and some people say like, oh, somebody, you change your mind. I can't tell. Like, I know what videos I'm talking about. I'm talking about the videos where I say, we're going up, but we're not going up to where you think. Okay? And then when we're going down, I say, don't worry, we're going to go up. We're going to go strong. I'm like, I can't put two pieces of the puzzle together because I know, man, humans think linearly. You think, not you, friends, I know, not him. The friendship cult baby doll members, do you understand? Okay. You can get to your target without a 100x, okay? Because I know that people believe it's binary. They think, okay, if we succeed, my portfolio does 100x, okay? And we're going up along the way. That means I'm going closer to 100x. That's what they think that. But so they can't possibly imagine that the 6x from here is actually the top. They can't imagine that because they're like, wait a minute, winning is 100x. We've only gone up 6x. That can't be the top. You're trying to FUD me out of my bags. Okay, because that's why humans, we don't think in terms of, these cycles and stuff. We always get caught up in the emotions of fear and greed. That's what always is going to be at play. Also have Mr. Pulse Pirate saying, de-risking sacrifice funds was good risk management. Yes, swapping into stables was the right move. He fumbled by not swapping them back, etc. I don't even want to call it fumble. I mean, it's a pretty long stretch to even say that, okay? So here I am even commenting. I was laughing at these 3 red monthly candles. See, friends, look at this. It never did 3 red monthly candles in a row before. And then it did it here, and then it did 4 green up ones. So that's the S&P 500. That's why trying to do that, you're going to get nowhere. And then we have Mr. Parlay DeFi saying, your mistake, let's see if he's a friend of the channel. He is a friend of the channel. Hello, Mr. Parlay, saying, your mistake is assuming Richard Hart wants or needs to invest or trade hundreds of millions. Why would he want to be 100% out of cash? Not logical. He was bear tweeting and coping as if 50+% of his holdings were stable coins. Now, Mr. ogFaraday is coming from the perspective that the whole ecosystem is only going to succeed in the timeline where Richard Hart buys a $500 Ethereum as the world collapses with those stable coins, and then he uses that to bridge in and buy everything in. That's one scenario, man. You know what? Probably Richard was thinking that. He was probably thinking that. He's like, well, if it's going to go to 10K, maybe Ethereum's $500. I'm going to use $600 million and I'll actually buy 1 million ETH. I'll buy 1 million ETH, okay? But friends, these people, when I tell you, they're unique. They have a decision tree in their head. They go, okay, if I can't do that, what's the next best path? Most people say, I give up. I fail. I don't know what to do, okay? He's like, okay, I guess the next best alternative is, and we don't know what it is, no expectations. Only he knows. So have a look at the PulseChain PLS price chart. That's why I've drawn these scenarios, friends. This is the funny part. Okay, it's always funny. Bless your hearts. Okay, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. Do you? You clearly don't know. All right. That's why you watch me. Okay, you don't know. You're playing with your willy, eating jelly beans in the corner. You have no idea what's going on either. I'm just drawing lines up, saying, hey, there's a bear case 2x, there's a medium case 4, and there's a bull case 10. I don't know what's going to happen. I can make a case for either one, and so can you. It's you just ride along and you just wait and see. That's exactly it. You just literally ride along, friends. That's all you can do. But this is the thing. What if the bear case happens? What if we end up here? Oh man, that would suck, wouldn't it? Well, I'm going to now show you something. If only there was somebody who down here told me to DCA buy. If only I had a friend telling me to DCA buy 60% below day one sack for Pulse, so that maybe it only did 20x. I don't know, I hope it does higher, but see, you get the point now? You don't know what case you're going to get, right? low, mid, or high. You don't know what case it is, okay? And this ogFaraday type of like stuff saying, hey, Saylor's the king and Richard Hart, etc. These narratives push them aside. No one cares. I speak to our friends and family. You think that they don't know who half these people are. They don't care. All they want is green candles. They want excitement. What I tell you, there are two things. They're bored and they're poor. Okay. If you can't solve for the poor part right now, you solve for the bored part. There's 68 streamers, 140 content creators, super strong fundamentals, and this ecosystem's still growing. Yeah, of course, you want it to grow faster. You want the green candles to come, but it is what it is. I promise you, you take any snapshot of Bitcoin or Ethereum in its life, it looked like it was over at the bottom. Every time, no growth, no ecosystem, no city being built, nothing promoting it, nothing good to say. Every single time. There was nothing that told you hold at all costs except unshakable belief and faith. That's it. It's literally like, no, I believe. What do you believe in? I don't know. Green candles. That's literally all it comes down to. Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button, all. Helicopter hat friends. Don't forget to love us. Catch you soon.